Hi, welcome back to Wine with Me. Today we are navigating around the Riesling label and how you can tell the difference between what is a dry Riesling and what is a sweet Riesling. Let's get started. So when it comes to terms of wines from Germany and Austria, they play by a completely different ballgame. They go by what's known as the predicate system. And how that differs between other European countries they follow is the level of grape ripeness over the sweetness levels. With that being said, the predicate system has levels of sweetness, and it starts in the cabinet level, which is usually a dry, high acidic wine. And then they have Spätlese, Auslese, and then they go into the dessert wines, which is beer and Auslese, Trocken beer and Auslese, and Eiswein. So while we're going to mainly focus on the Spätlese and Auslese, I did want to mention that there are 3 different levels afterwards for your dessert wines. So what's interesting about this hierarchy system is that even if it says Spätlese or Auslese, it does not necessarily mean that it's a certain sweetness level. Spätlese can be dry to sweet. Auslese means select harvest, so they're going to manually pick the different types of grapes, but it can still range from dry to sweet. So how does that help you navigate whether or not this wine is going to be dry or sweet? So a lot of German producers now will give you a chart and to indicate the level of sweetness, which is so helpful, but some don't. And you can follow certain cues to determine whether or not this type of German Riesling is going to be dry or sweet. So this wine in particular says Riesling dry. Even though this one doesn't have a chart indicating that it's dry, it's very clear that this is going to be a dry wine. And then there are other indications that you can determine whether a Riesling is dry or sweet. So the word Trocken that you'll see on a wine means that it's dry. Halbtrocken or Feinherb is off dry. Again, with the Spätlese and the Auslese, normally means that it's a late harvest or a select harvest, and it's usually going to veer on the side of sweeter. And the reason why I say that is because these wines are more concentrated. So they're going to have a higher concentration of sugar, and it's usually going to indicate that those wines are sweeter. Then you're going to see other indications on your Rieslings. Sometimes you'll see a black eagle or a cluster of grapes. And what that indicates is that it's more of a hierarchy system, very select high quality grapes. And then there's about 200 or so wineries who participate in what's known as a VDP. And that's just their hierarchy system of quality grapes. So while you see this in Germany and Austria, you can also see this in New York. Some of the New York wineries pride themselves on their Rieslings and say that they can compete with the Germans and the Austrians, which I find very cool. But then you can also see this in other countries as well. So depending on the level of sweetness with your Riesling is the aroma profiles you're going to get with your Riesling. Drier Riesling, you're going to mainly stay with your citrus, a little salinity, and your petrol notes, while you're more of a Spätlese or an Auslese, you're going to get those apricots, tropical fruits like pineapple and mango, to eventually your dried apricots and dried mango. So it can range, and you can determine that too with the color level. The lighter style of Riesling will be a very pale color, where your more concentrated Rieslings will have a little bit darker profile, a deeper yellow, almost like a straw or golden color. And that's where you're gonna know that you're gonna get more of that apricot and tropical fruit flavor. So have you tried Riesling, and which one have you tried? Because it can vary from level to level. Tell me in the comments below. Thank you for watching Wine with me today. Don't forget to like and subscribe. And as the Germans say, Prost!